Today is the Kendra's Card Challenge 13 Design Team sponsor hop for March. So come on with me while I make a cute card for a great friend. Hey guys, it's Beth. Welcome. I'm going to be playing with some fun products from Trinity Stamps today, and I'm also going to be using a sketch 14 from Kendra's Card Challenge 13 sketches. So Trinity Stamps is a super sponsor for this quarter's challenge, and so I'm going to be playing with some of the items from their new release in January. I have the Grate, Greater, Greatest stamp set with the coordinating die set. I have the cheesy background stencil and the honey bubbles that I will use to embellish. So the first thing I'm going to do is create my background with my stencil, and I am using some Distress ink. It's the Scattered Straw on just some kind of lighter buttery yellow cardstock, and I don't know if my ink pad is dry, but I was really struggling to get it to spread. So I've sped this up a little bit just because it took a long time. But while I am working on this background, I wanted to tell you a little bit about the hop. So all of the design team members here on YouTube and on Instagram are going to be creating projects using items from some of our super sponsors for this quarter. And there is a playlist linked in the description box below that you can go to watch all of the videos in the hop. And then once you're done, you can come back and click on the link for the giveaway form, fill that out, and have a chance to win a prize from Kendra. I have my background done, and I have already pre-stamped the cheese grater and the little cheese guy, for lack of a better, it's just a little cheese person. And I stamped my grater on just some light gray pattern paper scraps I had, and then decided to color in the handle on the grater. And then I have some scraps of kind of a darker yellow cardstock and some kind of creamy brown cardstock, I guess, that I'm using for the strips on the card sketch. And again, these were just some scraps that I had that happened to coordinate, so I went ahead and trimmed those down to the sketch measurements. I'm not alternating the colors like the sketch shows, just because my focal point in the middle is that brown, and I didn't want the brown overlapping on the brown. So I wanted to make sure that my brown strip was kind of on the outer part of the corner, and then the yellow was on the inner part. So once I get these down, I'm going to trim those off on the back. And then I did stamp out my cheese just on some of that yellow cardstock, the same yellow cardstock I used for my strips. I have a white stitched circle that is going to be where I lay my little stamped cheese items. And I put that on a brown scallop circle. And again, that's the same brown that I used for my strips. I wasn't really sure what other colors to bring in for cheese other than like a brown and a yellow or yellowish orange. So anyway, I'm going to add this down to my card, and then I can start embellishing that little focal point circle. I decided to take it's just a Avery fine point like Marks a Lot pen that I used for journaling sometimes, and I'm just kind of darkening up the little faces, the little smiling faces on both of my cheese and my grater, just to help them stand out. And then I added back in, since I had colored over the handle, I kind of added back in some of the detail outlines just to kind of help the grater handle stand out a little bit more. I'm going to pop up my cheese a little bit, just since it's going to kind of overlap on the grater. So I just have some foam squares from my stash that I'm using. And I'm glad, I'm almost done with these foam squares, and I'm glad because it's got a clear backing and it's really hard to get that backing off sometimes. Very finicky. Add my cheese. And then I also pre-stamped out the sentiment, "You're a great friend." And then I'm trying to decide if I want to put it on the top right or the bottom left of my focal circle, and finally decide on the top right. And then I did want to bring in some of the honey bubbles from Trinity just because they coordinated really well with the color yellow that I used. So that worked out. But I love I love a good punny stamp set. So I was excited to finally be able to play with this one and use one of the punny stamps. I decided to put a small bubble above and below my sentiment, and then I add 3 larger ones down on that bottom left to kind of help balance out the card. And normally I like to put a scrap of paper on the inside, but I didn't really have anything left, and so I decided to stamp the cheese on the inside, and I wanted to use that yellow ink. And since the ink was kind of finicky for me when I was doing my stencil, I wanted to kind of test it out and see how it was going to stamp. So I used a scrap piece of paper and then just stamped him down in the right corner, and my card is complete. So again, please be sure to check out the description box below for the playlist. You can find a link for Kendra's card challenge on how to get this quarters template if you don't already, and then also the giveaway form is down there as well. Thank you guys so much for your time, and I hope you all have a very crafty day.